Hey guys, Morgan from Rebellious Reels. We talk about all things movies and TV. And today, we're gonna be doing another video about my aunt's DVD collection that I inherited from her. This time, we're talking about Interview with a Vampire. So, the reason I watched this is because I'm currently doing a challenge where I watch a horror movie every day for the entire month of October. This was the second one I watched, and I won't spoil what the first one or any of the later ones are, because I'm planning on doing a tier list of all of these at the end of the month, and I don't want to spoil them. But anyway, let's talk about Interview with the Vampire. How was it? Well, it wasn't scary, I'll say that. It was too much of a melodrama to truly scare me. But I will say that I did enjoy this a fair bit in spite of not being scared. I like that the writer, Anne Rice, who wrote the book that this is based on, I like that she was able to make the vampire sympathetic without making it overly cheesy like some franchises. Looking at you, Twilight. The plot of this movie basically goes like this. A reporter meets Louis, our vampire main character, who tells him the story of his life. I won't spoil everything, but basically Louis gets turned into a vampire and goes through all sorts of suffering, and the movie starts out in the 1700s and then ends in the present day. Like I said, this movie didn't scare me, but it did manage to rip my heart right out of my chest. It was painful to watch for me, actually, because just the idea of spending an eternity living a meaningless life after experiencing centuries of trauma, yeah, something about that just breaks my heart. I spent the whole movie wanting to give Louis a hug, and even teared up a couple of times. It made me depressed enough that I didn't want to do anything for the rest of the night. Which, yeah, you can tell it affected me a fair bit. Aside from how it made me feel, I really liked the dark, borderline gothic atmosphere of this movie. The mournful soundtrack, the dark lighting, the grim looks on everyone's faces. All of it was just beautiful in a twisted kind of way that I love. And I'll also say that I liked pretty much all of the characters here. Like, Louis and the other vampires are all morally gray at best. But that's what makes them so captivating to me. Because are they really evil, or are they just doing what it takes to survive? What would I do in that situation? It really does make you think. And I honestly admire the character complexity here. Because even like the scummiest characters in this movie are somewhat sympathetic. I also like the use of more traditional vampire lore in this movie. Anne Rice, the author of the book, is actually from New Orleans, so she probably knows her stuff about vampires. This movie paints them as, like, these evil seducers who are incredibly attractive, yet obviously deadly. And yeah, that's very accurate to how they were traditionally portrayed. Also, if vampires were real, This is exactly how I imagine they would feel. Depressed, lonely, and guilt-ridden. If I had one issue with this movie, it would be that there are some things that don't really make any sense in it. For example, how is Louis able to keep property if he doesn't have a job? 2. How is he able to get away with killing people night after night, not being noticed? Yeah, this movie is pretty illogical, but I still kinda like it for its good directing, emotional impact, and the fact that it's a 2-hour epic of a movie that never feels like it drags at any point. In other words, this is a slightly flawed movie that gets most things right. It barely counts as a horror movie, even with the whole vampire aspect, but I'm kinda glad in a way, because I'm probably gonna get scared enough times this month, so it's nice to have a break from that and just have my heart ripped out and then crushed into a million pieces. So, how would I rate this? Well, if I was rating it in terms of how much it scared me, it would be at the bottom of the totem pole, no questions asked. But since I'm rating them on how much I enjoyed them overall, I'm gonna give this, on my new rating system that I have, going from S plus to Z minus, I'm gonna give this an A. I really enjoyed this. Like, sure, there are some things about it that don't make any sense, and I get that some people probably find this boring or cheesy or whatever, but for me, this was a deeply emotional experience that just tore my heart out, and it was just beautiful to look at, too. And if you want a good Halloween flick that isn't too scary, check this out. Also, this is the movie that taught me that vampires can, in fact, be sexy. I never understood the vampires are sexy thing until I watched this, but Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt made it so that I kind of understand it now. Okay, I'm rambling now. Let's end this. And that's my review. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. I'm Morgan from Rebellious Reels, and I'm out.